Hi, I'm Gabriella, welcome to my channel. I was going through some of my clothes recently and realised I have quite a few that would work really well for Disney bounds. A lot of them are quite common items of clothing as well, so I thought I'd make a quick video and show you the Disney bounds that I've managed to make out of things I had lying around the house. I did end up making one or two of the accessories and I'll be showing you how I did that as well. These could all be great for going to Disney, costume parties if you don't want to put a lot of effort into your costume, or just wearing about because they're costumes, but also they look like everyday normal clothes. So some of them could quite easily work just for walking around in your everyday life. While you're here, don't forget to subscribe and let's jump into some of the outfits. First up is Marie from Aristocats. She's one of my favourite Disney characters, as well as Aristocats being one of my favourite films. For this, I needed to make a bow. I followed a tutorial for this from C. Kate Sew. I'll put the link in the description. But basically what I did was I had to cut out 3 pieces of pink fabric. They were of the dimensions 12 by 36 inches, 6 by 9 inches, and 9 by roughly 39-40 inches. The material I got was 1 meter wide, so I did it to 1 meter, which is in between 39 and 40 inches long. Then I had to cut out interfacing. I cut out bits that were just a little bit smaller than the pieces I had cut out, and I ironed those on. I started off with the longest one, so the 9 by 39 inch one. I folded it in half with the interfacing on the outside, and I stitched round 2 of the edges, so one side and the long part. And once I did that, I turned it inside out. I folded in the edges of the final side and sewed that shut. Then I sewed on poppers, 2 on each end, and each end was also on a different side so that when they turned round to join up, the fabric wouldn't need to twist. And that was the sash done. So then I needed to make the bow to put on the sash. For that, I went back to the big piece of fabric, the 12 by 36 inch one. I folded that in half again with the interfacing facing out, and I sewed round both edges and all of the long side except for a small bit that was maybe 2 or 3 inches wide in the middle. Once I'd done that, I turned it inside out, which was quite difficult to do, but that's what I left the gap for. Once I'd turned it the right way round and I ironed it to make it look all smooth, I then got the small piece, folded it in half 3 times, and then I folded over the big part twice so that it made a cross, as you can see, and I used the small bit, which I folded over a few times, to crimp it all together and make the bow shape. I didn't need to do any hemming on the small part because I then sewed it off once I had fastened it round, and then I had the bow. I then needed to attach it to the belt, and I put more poppers on, and what I realised after I'd done this was that I needed to sew the popper onto the fastening. So that meant I needed to slide off the fastening from the bow, sew the popper on, and then wriggle it back on again, which was quite difficult, but I managed to do it. And I just ironed the bow out again to make it smooth where it had gone crumpled from pulling and putting back on the fastening. I also realised that the bow wasn't as big as I thought it was going to be, so I folded the sash in half and I only put 1 popper on to connect the sash to the bow. If I were going to do this again, I would keep the sash the same size, but I would try and make the bow bigger. So for the rest of my costume for Marie, I just had a white dress, which you might have seen before in my Hercules video, live action, I Won't Say I'm in Love, which I wore for the Muses. So I wore that with the sash and the bow, and then I just bought a piece of pink ribbon which I tied right at the top of my hair. I really like this. I think it's a really cute outfit. I might not necessarily wear it around a lot because I don't tend to wear massive bows around during the day, but it's really great for a Disney bound. My next outfit is Wendy Darling from Peter Pan. This was so simple. I already had a blue dress with a sort of sash around it. This was from Hollister several long years ago, I think, and I just bought a piece of blue ribbon, which I tied my hair in a ponytail, and I then tied the ribbon around it. I also got some shorter bits of my hair from round the front of my fringe, or I don't really have a fringe, but round the front where my hair's shorter. I didn't put them in the ponytail, I instead pinned them back, so you can't really see it in the video, but it just gave a bit of a not quite a scraped back look on the ponytail. My next one, I was feeling very inspired when I thought of this, but now watching it back, I'm not as sure. I had a pink dress and I thought, you know what would be really great? Maid Marian. So I went out, I bought some pink gauze. It was 1 meter by 1.5 meters, so I just cut it in half into a square and used a hair grip to pin it into my hair, which I'd done up in 2 buns to sort of represent ears. I think it sort of works, but maybe more as a Disney bound. I'm not sure how well the gauze worked. Luckily you can't really see it that well, but I think it doesn't really go where you want it to go. It kind of sticks out randomly. So it didn't look as good as I thought it was going to. It sort of worked. Next up is obviously Rapunzel. So using the same pink dress, and I just did my hair in a plait, pinned some of it slightly so that it didn't go quite so severely into a plait. And then I got these flower headbands off Amazon. They're just different coloured daisies on headbands, and I did a mixture of ripping them off and cutting them off, and I didn't have any glue to glue them onto hair grips, but luckily they managed to sort of just, if I pushed them into my hair, because they had weird endings on them, it would stick in my hair quite well. So that was quite lucky. I probably wouldn't be able to wear this out and around, but I think it looked quite good just for the video. And finally, we have a female Flynn Rider. I didn't think this outfit was going to be that great, but actually watching it back in the video, I really like it. There's quite a few different ways you could do this. I was thinking of loads of different options of how I was going to do it. In the end, I decided to go for a short-sleeved white sort of like vest top. It's not a proper shirt, it's quite light cotton. I had a sleeveless denim jacket that I wore over the top, and I had a brown, I think it's corduroy skirt with buttons up the front. I would have preferred shorts maybe, but I think the skirt worked out quite well in the end. And then I have this really adorable leather satchel that I got when I was out in the south of France this summer. And you can obviously do this with a long sleeve shirt. I did have a long sleeve option, but I quite liked the short sleeve one, so I left it at that. So there you have 5 Disney bounds that I managed to make out of things I just found in my wardrobe. Let me know in the comments if you think you've got any items of clothing that you'll be able to use to make these costumes or anything similar, any other Disney bounds. And also definitely let me know if you like the tutorials for making the accessories. I made a tutorial video a while ago where I made a Katara cosplay, and I kind of forgot to film the making process. This time I remembered to film the making process, so I hope that it's more useful. So please make sure to give it a like if you found it useful this time, so that I at least know I'm going in the right direction with my tutorial videos. Anyway, that's it from me. Make sure to subscribe so you know when my next video comes out, and I'll see you there. Till next time, bye!